wanted to touch on retail earnings because I think it's very important for individual investors to consider, actually, because it gives us a good snapshot as to, are people spending? If people stop spending, then that becomes a problem. We know that the majority of GDP growth in the United States, and a lot of it here in Canada, is based on the consumer spending their hard-earned money on flat screen TVs, computers, sports equipment, you name it, buying cars, refrigerators, whatever it is. We need to keep an eye always on retail sales, what the average person is spending. And retail earnings are a good glimpse into that. And we had some of the biggest retailers in the United States, and I guess in the world even, report last week. We have a chart on some of them, and I wanted to just touch on them. First one, Walmart. I thought they reported fantastic earnings. Walmart, they get a pretty good rating because a lot of their business is in the food industry. And as we know, when times are tough, people still have to eat. So food is something that Walmart has, I guess, incorporated more and more into their business. And it has fared them well at this time when discretionary spending is now being called into question, meaning if you don't really need to buy that item of clothing or whatnot, maybe you just don't buy it. Well, at Walmart, at least they have their food business to fall back on. And so Walmart actually took up their expectations for the future, reported great top line and bottom line growth. And Walmart, I think, trading near its high. Tough to buy today just because I think it's not a cheap investment idea at this point in time. But maybe on some sort of pullback, we would take another look at Walmart. Another retailer I have is Target, a name that we all know is now, I guess, a U.S. retailer. Once upon a time, it was up here in Canada, but recently left Canada to just go back to the U.S. And Target, very different earnings results than Walmart. They actually took down their expectations going forward. They spoke about things such as discretionary spending slowing down. They spoke about, in the US, this idea that students will have to pay back their student loans. There was some talk over the last 6 months by the US government that they may forgive student loans. Well, here we go. That didn't go through. And so individuals, parents, students will have to pay back those loans. They talked a bit about that. But overall, Target did not have the greatest earnings data last week, yet their stock actually went higher when they reported. Perhaps many investors thought, well, this was as bad as it gets, and this was some sort of floor or trough or bottom for the stock, and they started buying into Target, whereas Walmart shares actually went down after their earnings. So that was kind of interesting to see. Walmart had the good report, Target had a weak report, yet Target shares went higher and Walmart shares went down. So I guess you never know what individual investors will focus on. And so retail earnings to me is always something that I like to look at. We also heard from Home Depot. We don't have we actually showed the chart of Home Depot earlier, but Home Depot reported last week as well. And Home Depot was kind of somewhere in the middle. They didn't say as many good things as Walmart did, although they didn't say as many bad things as Target, and their earnings were better than Target. So they came somewhere in the middle, and their stock price went up slightly. So there you kind of have it, right? Walmart's at the on the good side of things, Home Depot in the middle, Target on the weaker side. Yet Target shares went up probably the most, followed by Home Depot, and Walmart actually went down. So you got to really study these retail reports, and investors will parse through them and take what they want out of it. And obviously that will move the shares of these stocks. But overall, retail spending continues to be strong, both in Canada and the US. And as long as people are working and have jobs, as we know, because we have full employment in the US and pretty close to full employment here in Canada, people will continue to spend and continue to drive this economy forward.